Now, I wouldn't say I'm a Mike White expert, but the one most fascinating thing about him is something that I don't think many people know. He is technically a Nepo baby, but in the worst way possible. His father is Mel White, who became famous in the 60s, 70s, and 80s as a writer for the religious far right. He wrote television specials and ghost wrote autobiographies of these famous televangelists such as Billy Graham, Pat Robertson, Jerry Falwell. Jerry Falwell famously is the guy who pushed out Tammy Faye and took over her network. He also was extremely homophobic and called AIDS the gay cancer, which is ironic because in 1994, Mel White came out as gay. He says that after years of prayer and conversion therapy, including electroshock therapy and even exorcism, he was unable to deny his same sex attraction. He even survived a suicide attempt. He admitted this to his wife, and they divorced amicably in the 80s, which is when he started dating his future husband. In 1994, he publicly came out in his autobiography and renounced the religious right, becoming a full time queer friendly minister to the LGBTQ community. Him and his husband, Gary Nixon, were actually the first same sex couple to be legally married in the All Saints Episcopal Church of Pasadena after the same sex ban was overturned in 2008. Since then, he has written extensively on the topic of gay Christians and has worked to make the church more inclusive and tolerant. I think this little bit of family history is so significant for Mike White, given that he is bisexual, and his series, like The White Lotus, often deal with queerness in conservative families. The queerness in his shows often comes out in the subtleties, in the subtext of his scenes, not explicitly. I think that's a really authentic depiction, and it makes sense given that Mike White grew up religious and conservative in a modest household. That was all upended by his father coming out and seemingly renouncing all that he had previously stood for. It's that struggle of coming to terms with your progressive desires compared to your more conservative upbringing. I believe Mike White really nails this. It's also nice to see that he apparently has a really good relationship with his father. They even appeared on a season of The Amazing Race together back in 2009. Mel White's husband Gary died back in August 2024, but Mel White is still alive, he's 84 years old, and he remains to this day one of the most famous LGBTQ plus Christian advocates. Oh my god, while researching this video, I discovered Mel White's website and I found the page dedicated to Gary's funeral from last year, and take a look, it is so heart-wrenching.